shocking discovery was made on Deer Island, leading to the closure of the wastewater treatment plant. Authorities are seeking the public's help after a young girl and her dog stumbled upon a mysterious find on the beach. The girl's curiosity led her to investigate where her dog was sniffing, and they found something sinister near the water treatment plant. Donna Smith captured a photo of the scene, showing a white sheet-covered object on the rocks. State police and the DA's office are baffled, unable to identify the child or determine how she ended up there. This is the story of the Deer Island baby doe, a mystery that shook the world on June 25, 2015. Delve into the darkness of this haunting tale by hitting the subscribe button and join us as we uncover its secrets. On June 25, 2015, Bonnie Flynn was walking her dog on Deer Island, a popular recreational spot near Boston, Massachusetts. Her dog sniffed out a heavy-duty trash bag, which Bonnie initially thought was just discarded trash. But as she looked closer, she saw legs, human legs. She was in shock, frozen by the weight of her discovery. Bonnie called out to a passerby, "Call 911. I just found a dead baby on the beach." The passerby quickly called for help, and soon authorities arrived on the scene. Among them was homicide detective Daniel Herman, who would lead the investigation into the mystery of the child's identity. Detective Herman described the scene as sinister and chilling. The child, dubbed Baby Doe, was found in a laundry bag, cocooned in blankets, with a striking zebra print pattern. She was estimated to be around 4 years old, with innocent brown eyes and long brown hair. Despite a thorough examination, no apparent injuries or trauma were found. The investigation was extensive, with detectives canvassing the area, speaking to witnesses, and scouring the rocks for clues. Medical examiners were called to the scene, and an autopsy was performed to determine the cause of death. The focus was on identifying the child and uncovering the mystery surrounding her fate. With no apparent injuries or trauma, determining the cause of Baby Doe's death was a challenge. The autopsy results were inconclusive, and investigators were left with more questions than answers. Detective Herman reached out to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, searching for any matches to Baby Doe's description. Forensic artist Christy Andrews worked tirelessly to create a composite image of the child, but Baby Doe's features were obscured by decomposition. Fingerprint analysis was also futile, and there were no identifying clues within the bags or blankets she was found in. The investigation was hitting dead ends at every turn. As the investigation continued, detectives were determined to give Baby Doe her identity back. They scoured missing persons records, searched for any connections to the area, and followed up on every lead. The public was urged to come forward with any information, no matter how small. Despite the challenges, Detective Herman remained committed to solving the mystery of Baby Doe's identity and fate. The case had captivated the nation, and everyone was eager for answers. Who was this little girl? How did she end up on Deer Island? And what happened to her? Despite exhaustive efforts, DNA and dental records yielded no matches. However, pollen tests suggested Baby Doe was a local resident, possibly known to someone in Boston. The autopsy failed to pinpoint an exact cause of death, leaving more questions than answers. Dr. Henry Nields, the medical examiner, speculated that strangulation or suffocation may have been the cause, but the extent and timing of the bruises found on her body remained unclear due to decomposition. Christy Andrews, a forensic artist, meticulously crafted a composite image of Baby Doe, spending over 4 hours in Adobe Photoshop to capture her likeness. The final result was a haunting depiction of a beautiful child, her piercing brown eyes seemingly pleading to be recognized. The investigation revealed Baby Doe was found with a red hair tie, polka dot pants, with a Cairo label purchased at Target, and a zebra-striped blanket bought at Kmart. She bore a striking resemblance to an age progression image of Leah Lunsford, a West Virginia toddler missing since 2011. But police confirmed Baby Doe was not Leah. For 85 days, teams of investigators tirelessly distributed thousands of flyers bearing Baby Doe's composite image and limited information. Press appeals echoed throughout Boston and its outskirts, pleading with the public to come forward with any leads. Despite the relentless efforts, each lead seemed to hit a dead end, leaving investigators grappling with uncertainty. Just 18 miles away from where Baby Doe's body was discovered, a breakthrough emerged in mid-June. Investigators finally obtained the crucial piece of information they'd been chasing: Baby Doe's real name. It turned out that Rachel, a 40-year-old woman struggling with drug abuse and heroin addiction, and her boyfriend Michael McCarthy, knew the truth. They knew Baby Doe's identity because they were the ones who discarded her body. Rachel's addiction led to her arrest, and Joseph decided to leave for Florida, discovering she had been sleeping with other men. Rachel returned to the shelter, determined to raise her baby alone. This wasn't her first experience with motherhood, as she had 2 older children taken into custody due to her drug use and neglect. Rachel welcomed her daughter, Bella Na Amoroso Bond, on August 6, 2012, at Boston Medical Center. Despite her struggles with addiction, she wanted a stable life for herself and her daughter. However, concerns about Bella's welfare surfaced, with reports filed by Joseph to Children and Family Services. By Bella's first birthday, Rachel received a 2-bedroom apartment on Maxwell Street in Dorchester, promising stability and security. Bella spent time playing with her neighbor's dog and was described as a happy and playful child. Rachel attempted to create a nurturing environment, decorating Bella's room with vibrant colors and beloved cartoon characters. However, Rachel's attempts at stability were marred by her addiction, and her apartment became a revolving door for her homeless friends, including 2 boyfriends. Despite the chaotic environment, Bella's joyful spirit endured, and she radiated playfulness and charm. As Bella approached her 2nd birthday, her bubbly personality continued to blossom. Rachel found herself on a regular pilgrimage to a methadone clinic in the South Bay area of Boston's notorious Methadone Mile. She relied on medications like Clen for her anxiety and Suboxone to manage opioid cravings, occasionally selling them for extra cash. One day, she met Michael McCarthy, a man grappling with his own demons of addiction, and their chance meeting would steer the course of Rachel's life. Michael McCarthy struggled with heroin addiction, which led to a seizure in 2011 and a shoulder injury. He had a loyal Pomeranian dog that served as his guardian during seizures. After a year, Michael reconnected with Rachel through a text message, and he became a permanent fixture in their lives. Bella embraced Michael's presence, but in early June 2015, she vanished without a trace. The apartment fell silent, leaving neighbors puzzled and concerned. Rachel and Michael fabricated stories about Bella's absence, claiming she was taken by Child Protective Services or living with her aunt. Michael's childhood friend, Michael Sprinty, stayed at Rachel's apartment for 2 weeks and noticed a change in the atmosphere. Bella still smiled and played, but Sprinty felt uncomfortable with Michael's fascination with demonology and exorcisms. Michael claimed he could exorcise evil spirits and frequently talked about demons. Sprinty left after 2 weeks, returned to the streets for a month, and eventually came back to the apartment. However, Rachel and Michael had started using heroin again, and the apartment descended into chaos. Sprinty observed Rachel and Michael getting drugs together at the apartment, and their relapse into heroin use led to a deterioration in their living situation. Little Bella's absence remained a mystery for 3 agonizing months, leaving her fate shrouded in uncertainty. As Sprinty observed, the apartment's condition deteriorated, with dishes piled up and a general mess. He noticed Rachel and Michael's behavior towards Bella changed, with Michael even locking her in a closet as punishment for supposed demonic possession. Joseph, Bella's biological father, visited the apartment in September 2015, but Rachel refused to let him see Bella, claiming she was with her godparents on Cape Cod. Joseph found this suspicious and pressed for more information. A week later, Michael prepared for surgery, and Rachel confided in Sprinty, revealing that Bella was dead and Michael was responsible. Sprinty confronted Michael, who dismissed the allegations. However, Sprinty's sister Laura urged him to investigate further, and they discovered that Baby Doe, whose identity had been unknown for months, was actually Bella Bond. The police swiftly dispatched homicide officers to interview Michael Sprinty, and they eventually located Rachel, who had fled her apartment. Rachel claimed that Michael punched Bella in the stomach with such force that she bounced up, and then he threatened to kill Rachel too. Rachel alleged that Michael forced her to accompany him to 4 Point Channel, where she was forced to weigh down Bella's lifeless body in the water. She claimed she was in a state of heroin-induced fear and couldn't recall much of what happened in the ensuing months. However, she maintained that she did not commit the act and that Michael was solely responsible for Bella's death. Trooper Joel Balducci from the Suffolk County Detective Unit interviewed Michael McCarthy, who claimed that when he returned to the apartment after Easter, Bella was gone, and Rachel told him that DSS had taken her. However, Balducci confronted Michael with the truth about Bella's death and Rachel's cooperation, challenging him to tell the truth. Michael insisted he was telling the truth and had no idea what happened to Bella. Balducci pressed Michael about the discrepancies in his story and Rachel's account, suggesting that Rachel might be trying to cover her own tracks. Michael couldn't comprehend why Rachel would accuse him of hurting Bella. The investigators had identified Bella as the child known as Baby Doe, and District Attorney Daniel Conley announced this at a press conference on September 18, 2015. As the investigation continued, Scott McKenzie from the Massachusetts State Police Underwater Recovery Team searched the Boston Harbor and found a green military-style duffel bag and 2 weightlifting plates, which were carefully documented and brought to the surface for further examination. Meanwhile, Rachel reached an agreement with the DA's office, taking an unexpected turn in the case. Rachel Bond pleaded guilty to charges related to Bella's murder and testified against Michael McCarthy in exchange for cooperation. The trial began on May 30, 2017, and Assistant District Attorney David Deacon presented the case as a clash between 2 drug-addicted adults, each blaming the other for Bella's death. Rachel recounted a harrowing tale of Bella's murder and her subsequent descent into drug addiction under Michael's control. Michael maintained his innocence, claiming he believed Rachel's explanation that Bella had been taken by Child Protective Services. Witnesses, including Michael's friend Michael Sprinty, testified about Michael's interest in demonology and his belief in exorcising evil spirits. The jury visited key locations, including Deer Island, 4 Point Channel, and the Maxwell apartment, which provided insight into the tragic events surrounding Bella's death. Rachel took the stand, recounting Bella's murder and her attempts to revive her. Joseph Amoroso, Bella's biological father, testified, expressing his emotions and holding Michael responsible for Bella's murder. To prove Michael's guilt, the prosecution presented evidence, including weightlifting plates found in his car, text messages, and cell phone tower data placing him at the crime scene. On June 20, 2017, the jury delivered their verdict.
Brief background. On June 25th of this year, a woman walking her dog on Deer Island found a plastic contractor's construction bag and noted that her dog had run over to it and was pawing at it, very interested in the contents. She went over to the bag after asking another person to come with her, opened the bag partially and saw what appeared to be the limb of a small child. She immediately called 911. Massachusetts State Police and other first responders responded, and they opened the bag and found the body of an unknown, unidentified, approximately 3 to 4 year old child based on their estimates of her size. She was in the beginning stages of decomposition. She was wearing white leggings with black polka dots and no shirt. And there were 2 blankets, a zebra print blanket and another blanket in the bag with her. Their moisture had entered the bag, but it was fairly clear that it had remained essentially sealed at the time it was found. Investigation revealed that the bag had been seen in that same spot on the beach the previous noon time, that is the 24th of June, indicating to investigators that the bag had been either washed up on the beach or in some event on the beach for approximately 24 hours.
Michael McCarthy was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 20 years. Rachel was sentenced to time served and 2 years of probation, with strict terms to ensure her compliance. This tragic case highlights the devastating impact of drug addiction and the failure to protect an innocent child. In the heart-wrenching saga of Baby Doe, the discovery of her tiny body on Deer Island sent shockwaves through Boston. Despite exhaustive efforts, her identity remained a mystery until the truth emerged about Rachel Bond and Michael McCarthy's involvement. Rachel's harrowing account of Bella's murder and Michael's conviction shed light on the tragic consequences of addiction and neglect. The story serves as a stark reminder of society's duty to protect its most vulnerable members and the devastating toll of substance abuse on innocent lives. In this video, we know about Bella Bond's murder case, Rachel Bond, mother, and Michael McCarthy, boyfriend, involved. Drug addiction and neglect led to Bella's death. Michael punched Bella in the stomach, causing her death. Rachel cooperated with authorities and testified against Michael. Michael sentenced to life in prison with possibility of parole after 20 years. Rachel sentenced to time served and 2 years probation. As the curtains draw to a close on this tragic saga, we invite you to stay tuned to Crime Canvas for more captivating stories from the world of crime. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for future updates, exclusive content, and to join us on our journey through the mysteries of human nature. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay curious.